From the 23, open, making the catch to the 5-yard line. Jordan Akins. Forward in motion. Winston, under pressure, gonna run it into the end zone. Whoa.
When he was talking to Kaylee in the pregame, saying how blessed he feels to have a chance to play tonight and how fitting here, a fourth down play. The Steelers caught in man.
Bring Judy inside, throws, and this time it's held on to.
Welcome back to the gym. It is your guy Boulanger. Up next, the Browns beat the Steelers. What does that say about the Ravens? Let's talk. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm going to be in here about 10, 12 minutes and I'm out. But last night, AFC North battle, Steelers versus Browns. And it really allowed Ravens Nation to gather around the television and assess what the Steelers really were, but also what the Ravens really are. And so, coming out of Sunday's loss against the Steelers, it made us kind of think twice about the Ravens. And it really kind of made us think twice about, what we really could accomplish as it pertains to playoff seeding and Super Bowl and things of that nature. And it really caused us to call our coaching into question. And so when I watched the Cleveland Browns play last night, I watched this game with, great intensity because I really wanted to assess, are the Steelers really like that? Or are the Baltimore Ravens really not that? And what I come away with is that the Ravens just aren't like that. That's what I come away with. The Ravens have been impostoring all season. Well, Boulanger, man, that's too hard on the Ravens. Why would you say that? It's got to be the coaching. Well, I think it is coaching for sure, but I think it's play or players as well. Here's why I say that. Coming into last night's game, both teams are coming off games on Sunday, so equal amount of rest, so on and so forth. Both teams have injuries, so I'm throwing injuries out, right? But both teams came into the game basically with their regular squads, right? The Steelers are going in one direction, the Cleveland Browns are going in a different direction. And in fact, this is the type of game that the Cleveland Browns could have, should have mailed in, right? Because getting a win last night doesn't help their draft order. Getting a win last night does not help them get in the potential place to make the playoffs. And so really it was a game in the middle of a snowstorm that Cleveland could have absolutely mailed in. But they didn't. That speaks to player character, which sometimes we don't have. That speaks to the players just being willing to grind it out. That speaks to the coaches sticking to a game plan and keeping their team engaged. Imagine what it's like to be on the sideline off of Lake Erie, cold wind, snow, you're wet, and you just want to get this game over and get back to the crib. But what you saw Cleveland do last night is fight and fight some more. And when Pittsburgh fought back, Cleveland kept fighting and pulled out a win. What you saw from the Cleveland Browns last night was they had a clear game plan identified that was to throw the ball sparingly, but make sure they kept at it with the run. When you look at the Cleveland run totals and things of that nature, they averaged under 4 yards a carry, but they kept plugging away. 1 yard here, 2 yards here, 7 yards here, 1 yard, 2 yards, 5 yards, that kind of thing. And then, late into the fourth quarter, when they could have just settled for a field goal, no, they kept fighting. They wanted to go get the touchdown and put the game away, right? And so they kept Pittsburgh behind all game long. And so it really spoke to player character, coaching acumen, even though we don't think much about the Cleveland Browns holistically. But what you saw last night was a clear coaching game plan executed fully, right? Think about it, right? Nick Chubb just got back this year from a year-long injury. He ran hard. Ford ran hard. Jameis Winston is known for turning the ball over.
Pressured, on the run, on the move, throws, leaping grab at the 40-yard line. Jerry Jeudy. Good protection. Throws intercepted at the 21-yard line.
He absolutely did that late in that game. Gave up an interception. And again, right, ball could have slipped out of his hands. It was definitely bad weather. But what did Cleveland do? They come right back out on defense, get a stop, give their offense another chance, and they go down and win the game.
Now Harris next to him. Fields is going to throw and throw long, and it's incomplete, intended for Pickens. 0 for 8 are the Browns on third down. Tip, incomplete. Deshaun Elliott, fourth down. Watt, double him again, chip him again, passes a little low, and caught. Jerry Jeudy was right there. In the pocket. Has a man to the 13-yard line. Jerry Jeudy having some night. 6 catches, 87 yards for him. Winston from the gun. Hands it off. To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns.
Right? And that doesn't mean Pittsburgh got punked or anything like that. It just means you saw a team in Cleveland who stood up and showed what they were made of. That's a top-down approach. That's a top-down concept where you have your leadership in place. They're going to keep coaching. They're going to keep the morale on the team no matter what the record looks like. And they're going to keep fighting all the way to the end where they pulled out a victory. Now, what does that say about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Well, it probably says their offense isn't that potent. It probably says they have more vulnerabilities than they've shown through the first, I think they played 11 games now. They have more vulnerabilities, but when we get on the field with them, all that gets exposed is our vulnerabilities. 3 turnovers, drop pass, hit a receiver in the face mask, and poor coaching. And so I just want to get in here, man. I want to give a shout out to the Cleveland Browns, although I know that's kind of a sin on a Raven Content Creators channel, but I do want to give a shout out to the Cleveland Browns for showing the Baltimore Ravens what it looks like to fight a game out to the end, what it looks like to minimize your mistakes. When you make a mistake, you don't just keep repeating the same mistake, you fix it, right? And so I appreciate the example. And so I hope that the Ravens players, coaches, organization, fan base, I hope we were watching that game last night, hoping, one, that the Cleveland Browns would win, because that opens the door for us in the division a little bit. But for the most part, you wanted to see a team just fight, a team that has nothing to play for, a team that's playing with a backup quarterback, a team who's playing with a number 2 wide receiver showing up as the number 1 wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy showed last night why the Cleveland Browns made a good decision to go and get him, which is probably looks more like why the Ravens should have went and got Jerry Jeudy when he was made available. Nevertheless, man, shout out to Cleveland. Also, shout out to Pittsburgh, because they fought to the end too. I just thought that the execution by Cleveland in those conditions were excellent. And so, Ravens, we should be able to take an example from the Cleveland Browns showing up and handling their business. So I hope we can get some motivation going into Monday night, that we show up on the West Coast and handle our business. I'm your guy, Boulanger, and I'm out.